Let's talk about Meerut, a city in Uttar Pradesh, India. On the surface, it's a pretty quiet place, you know? The kind of town where life just seems to move at a predictable, safe pace. But behind the calm exterior of one particular home, that sense of normalcy was really just a mask, hiding a secret so dark, it was about to tear the whole city's peace apart.
And right at the heart of this whole mystery is this one pretty ordinary object, a big blue plastic drum. But this drum held a secret that once it came out would absolutely shock everyone. It really makes you wonder what could possibly be hidden so desperately inside something like this. So that's the big question, isn't it? What was inside this drum? To get the answer, we've got to rewind. We need to go back in time and step inside a home that, from the outside, looked just like any other.
Okay, so our story really starts with this idea of a life of pretense. See, behind the closed doors of this one house, a picture-perfect image of happiness was hiding a much, much darker reality.
So in this quiet house in Meerut, we have a married couple, Saurav Rajput and Muskan Rastogi. And to anyone looking in, neighbors, family, you name it, they seem to be living a completely normal life.
And here, you can really see the massive gap between what people saw and what was actually happening. On one side, you have the facade, smiling wedding photos, public appearances as a happy couple. But the reality? Man, that was a whole different story. Behind closed doors, their home was filled with nonstop arguments, a growing distance between them, and a love that had pretty much fizzled out. It was all just an illusion, and it was about to crack.
You know, in any relationship that's falling apart, there's always that one moment, that turning point, where things they go beyond repair. And for this couple, that moment came, and it was about to change their lives forever. And then, a new name enters the picture, Sahil Shukla. His arrival was the catalyst. It took all those existing cracks in their marriage and just shattered them completely. And you can see just how quickly everything spiraled downward on this timeline. I mean, it starts with a hopeful marriage, right? But then the cracks start to show with all the arguments. Sahil's entry just throws gasoline on the fire, escalating everything, until the tension in that house became a pressure cooker, just totally unbearable.
This sentiment from the source material just nails the transformation. A home, which is supposed to be your safe space, slowly warped into a prison, a dark, closed room where the tension was just suffocating. All right, this is where things take a really, really dark turn. We're now in the part of the story called Cement on the Truth. A truly horrifying act was committed, and it was followed by an even more chilling plan to bury it forever. And then, the breaking point was finally reached. A line was crossed inside that house, one that could never be uncrossed. Saurav Rajput was murdered, and in that one moment, everything changed.
As awful as that is, here's the thing that's truly chilling. It wasn't just the murder itself. It was the cold, calculated plan that was put into motion right after. The plan was disturbingly simple and so methodical. First, they got that blue drum. Then, Saurav's body was hidden inside. And the final, absolutely chilling step? They filled the drum with cement, literally sealing the truth away. The goal was terrifyingly clear: make the secret and Saurav disappear forever.
But you know how it is. Secrets this big, they rarely stay buried. The silence that came after the crime started to get, well, loud. And soon, the whole secret began to unravel.
So, in the days after, an unsettling quiet fell over the house. But one thing became glaringly obvious. Saurav Rajput was suddenly gone, just vanished, and nobody knew where he was. Naturally, his family started asking questions, and that concern? It didn't take long for it to turn into something else: suspicion. The silence coming from that house wasn't comforting at all. It was loud, echoing with questions that had no answers. So, of course, the police get involved. An official investigation kicks off. They search the house, top to bottom, and that's where they made the discovery that would blow this entire case wide open. They found it.
The blue drum, the very same one we started this story with. And once it was finally opened, that carefully cemented secret was exposed for everyone to see. The horrific truth came out, and it sent a shockwave through the entire community.
But finding the body, that wasn't the end of the story, not by a long shot. It was really just the beginning of the aftermath. And it left everyone with this really disturbing, unanswered question.
What happened next was a whirlwind. The investigation kicked into high gear. Interrogations led to arrests, and the story just exploded, becoming a national headline. The city of Meerut, that once quiet town, was left in a state of total shock.
When you really step back and look at this whole story, it's a deeply unsettling reminder, isn't it? That sometimes the biggest dangers we face aren't from strangers out there, but can be found right within the walls of our own homes.
In the end, this is so much more than just a crime story. It's a disturbing look at the dark side of human nature, and it leaves us with this one final, kind of haunting question. When love is gone and a relationship turns toxic, just how far can a person fall?